Hello and welcome to Bangladesh Today. I'm Mugdha Kapoor. Senior officials of India and Bangladesh met in New Delhi this week and concluded that the two neighbours are working closely towards resolving pending issues. Also in this week's episode, intellectuals in the country hail the back-to-back verdicts delivered by the War Crimes Tribunal against Ghulam, Azam and Ali Ahsan Mujaheed.
India's Home Secretary Anil Goswami and Senior Secretary in the Ministry of Interior Affairs of Bangladesh, CQK Mushtaq Ahmed, met in Delhi and reaffirmed their commitment to not allow the territory of either country to be used for any action harmful to each other's well-being. Both countries also expressed approval at the smooth functioning of the Coordinated Border Management Plan.
The two Home Secretaries recalled the excellent and friendly bilateral relations existing between India and Bangladesh and reiterated their commitment to further take these relations forward. They noted that the exchange of visits by the Prime Ministers of Bangladesh and India in January 2010 and September 2011 respectively, and by the Home Ministers of Bangladesh to India in February and December 2012, and the Home Minister of India to Bangladesh in July 2011 and January 2013 has infused a new dynamism in the bilateral relations in general and security cooperation in particular. They also noted that the bilateral cooperation in the field of security and border management has been strengthened with the signing of the 4 agreements pertaining to security cooperation, including the extradition treaty. They took note of the outcome of the 13th JWG meeting on security issues held on 18th July 2013, wherein the two sides discussed issues such as security, border management, incidents of deaths due to firing on the border, implementation of agreements, ratification of the land boundary agreement, visa and council-related matters, capacity building, etc. The Indian Home Secretary conveyed the appreciation of the Government of India to the Government of Bangladesh for extending cooperation for addressing the security concerns of India. The two Home Secretaries reaffirmed their commitment not to allow the territory of either country to be used for any activity inimical to each other's interests. Both sides expressed satisfaction at the smooth operation of Coordinated Border Management Plan and agreed to increase the frequency of coordinated patrolling with a view to curbing criminal activities along the border. They noted with satisfaction that the implementation of the CBMP has resulted in reduced number of border incidents. Agreeing that it is a point of joint responsibility, both Home Secretaries expressed confidence that increased number of coordinated patrolling would enhance cooperation between the border guarding forces of the two countries and enable them to prevent the movement of criminals and manage the identified vulnerable areas with a view to prevent criminal activities, acts of violence and loss of lives along the border areas. As an additional measure for better border management, both sides welcomed the recent DCDM, Deputy Commissioner District Magistrate Conference between the Brahman Baria district of Bangladesh and West Tripura district of India.
As a supplementary measure for better border management, both sides welcomed the recent DCDM conference between Brahmabaria district of Bangladesh and West Tripura district of India. The Coordinated Border Management Plan was signed by the then Indian Home Minister P. Chidambaram and his then Bangladeshi counterpart Sherara Khatun in July 2011, with the hope that this would further improve the quality of border management.
Now the relations between India and Bangladesh is based on actually goodwill, mutual trust and good faith. So everything is done under that environment. So it is not like that we are negotiating about some very vexed issues between two countries. Actually these are routine affairs. So some progress, like the border incidents were resulting in deaths, that has been reduced. About narcotics, you have seen that Indian government has now decided to bring the Fencidil issue that has been come under the purview of your NPDC Act. So this is an NDSP Act, Narcotics and Drug Control Act. So these are tangible concrete improvements. And the border management issue, the following up of things and how to make it more effective, and other small problems like effluent water treatment plan or several other things. So I can see, improvements and progress in almost all the fields.
India and Bangladesh share a 3,886 kilometers long border, and breaching of fences by criminals is a continuous problem for security forces of both countries. The India and Bangladesh border passes through a number of rivers and hilly terrains of the Indian states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram, besides West Bengal. Anil Goswami said that the two nations have agreed to extend cooperation for extradition of wanted criminals and fugitives in each other's jails. India has been pressing for the handing over of top Alpha leader Anup Chetia, who is presently lodged in a Bangladesh prison. The United Liberation Front of Assam militant has been languishing in a Dhaka jail after he was arrested in 1997 on the charge of entering Bangladesh without required valid documents. Similarly, Bangladesh has urged for the tracking and handing over of the killers of the father of the nation, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. In January this year, the home ministers of the two countries had signed an extradition treaty as well.
Both sides welcomed the recent setting up of procedures for transfer of sentenced prisoners and agreed to expedite the process so that nationals who are in each other's jails could serve remaining period of their sentence in their native country. Both sides discussed the ratification of the LBA 1974 and the protocol signed in 2011 and noted that early ratification of the same would pave the way for implementation of the provisions of the agreement and lay the long-pending boundary-related issues at rest. Both sides welcomed that the Joint Task Force on Fake Currency Notes has been set up and agreed that the first meeting may be convened soon to develop a mechanism to deal with the menace. Both sides agreed that there should be greater number of goodwill visits and increased cooperation in training on subjects like cybercrime, ICT, forensic sciences, etc. The Indian side reiterated its offer of training courses for law enforcement agencies of Bangladesh in the Indian institutions. The Home Secretary of Bangladesh invited the Home Secretary of India for the 15th Home Secretary level talks at a mutually convenient time in Bangladesh.
Goswami and Ahmed also concurred that there should be greater number of goodwill visits and increased cooperation in training on subjects like cybercrime, ICT and forensic sciences, etc.
Meanwhile, in a historic decision, the Bangladeshi War Crimes Tribunal had last week sentenced more prominent members of the Jamaat-e-Islami. Ali Ahsan Mujaheed, who was sentenced to death, and 91-year-old Ghulam Azam, who was given life imprisonment. This has been hailed by the country's intellectuals and freedom fighters and has, on the other hand, sparked off angry protests across the country.
Ghulam Azam, 91, the wheelchair-bound former head of the Jamaat-e-Islami party, was found guilty on charges of planning, conspiring, inciting and complicity to commit genocide and crimes against humanity during the 1971 war. Ali Ehsan Muhammad Mujaheed, the 65-year-old Secretary General of the Jamaat-e-Islami, was convicted on charges of genocide, conspiracy in killing intellectuals, torture and abduction during the war. A veteran of Bangladesh's liberation war, Mehboob Zaman, lauded the verdict and said that the post-verdict violence by Jamaat and its ilk was expected.
Actually, we have seen, as a freedom fighter, we have seen the brutality, the heinous character and their barbarity during the liberation war. So we know what is Jamaat Islam and what they have done in the name of peace during the liberation war. But they have grown in the meantime for the last 40 years. And when this trial started of war criminals, we could understand that they will come up with a very violent face. And recently, we have seen that what they have done. They have attacked the police station, they have attacked the train railway, they have attacked the power stations, they have blocked or did all these things. They have all these obstacles, created obstacles and all these things. And recently, you know, that the verdict for the mastermind of this total Rajakar al-Badrs and all these things, Ghulam Azam, we expected that the ringleader, the mastermind of all these crimes will be having the capital punishment. And although the war crime tribunals has recognized and brought into their cognizance that this is a crime worth capital punishment, but due to his age, they have given 90 years of imprisonment, which means actually the capital punishment. But maybe actually from the very beginning, that means after the victory of the liberation war, we always dreamt that there will be trial of this war criminals, because there were Pakistani armies, they have surrendered and they have gone back to Pakistan, but the auxiliary force and the ringleaders of this auxiliary force, they also fled away at that time, and they came back after the political changeover of 1975, and they organized themselves, and they are now in every corner, nook and corner of the society, in the economic activity. They are running the universities, they are running the hospitals, they are running the business houses, they are running the banks, they are running the madrasas and all these things. And that is how they have organized. And that is how they are, they have shown us their violent appearance during the last couple of months after the declaration of these verdicts.
Pakistani troops in 1971 attempted to suppress a nationalist rebellion in what was then East Pakistan that was triggered by the jailing of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. About 300,000 people died and about 200,000 women were raped during the conflict.
I say that Jamaat is not a political party. It is an organization which is accused of war crimes, and incidentally, after this declaration of the verdict in the second time, that means when the declaration of Delwar Hussain Saidi was done, in the verdict itself, it was mentioned that this organization itself is engaged in war crimes. And incidentally, yesterday when the verdict for Ghulam Azam was done, that is categorically mentioned that this is a organization which can be blamed for all these crimes. So, and simultaneously in the parliament, in the national parliament, it is already amendment is already done for ICT, that means International War Crimes Tribunal Act, that not only person but a organization can be under trial for war crimes. So it is now the good wishes and the pressure, good wishes of the government and the parliament, and also the pressure from the people, that this Jamaat Islam, which is, I do not consider as a political party, I consider it as a war crime organization, so it can be banned through acts and procedures, and parliament can declare this and enforce this banning of the Jamaat Islam anytime, and that is very much required to go forward with our liberation war spirits and development.
The War Crimes Tribunal set up by Mujib's daughter and current Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is now bringing to justice the criminals of 1971.
Bangladeshis urgently want closure to the wounds of 1971, and the War Crimes Tribunal and the Sheikh Hasina government, by not succumbing to the pressure of hardliners, is making sure that justice is delivered fairly. More on that in the coming episodes. Thank you for watching Bangladesh Today.